Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our studies of First Kings. Today we're in First Kings chapter 16, and having read the chapter the last time we were together, you come into chapter 16 and you see a very interesting period of time for the northern kingdom of Israel. They have now had three different kings who have sat on the throne, Baasha at the end of chapter 15 being the last one, and being the one that we have on the throne coming into chapter 16. And yet there is going to be this very long period of uncertainty in the kingdom of Israel. Let's look at some things from chapter 16 and see what it is that we can pull out of this particular chapter. I want us to begin with this idea of uncertainty or insecurity yet again, because you're going to have Israel's insecurity being borne out at their leadership level. You have Baasha, who is king at the start of chapter 16. His son Elah is going to be king, but just for a couple of years. Zimri is going to kill him. He's going to reign for 7 days. And then Omri is going to come in, and he's going to reign for a few years. And then you're going to have it turning over to Ahab. All of these things are going to take place during the reign of one king in Judah, that is Asa. Asa is going to reign for 41 years in Judah, as we see in chapter 15. But there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is each and every one of these individuals that is going to take the throne is going to vie for the most wicked of those that have ruled in Israel. None of them are interested in doing what is right. None of them are willing to take the steps that are necessary to bring Israel back to God. Instead, there's only really one thing that they are concerned about, and that is their own power and their own desires. And so each of these men is going to fall, and it's interesting that each of them is going to fall in different ways at different times, and we're going to look at some of that in just a few moments. But you have here this period of deep uncertainty when it comes to the leadership of Israel, and yet it all stems from their unwillingness to look to and be obedient to God, because God is going to send Jehu on a couple of different occasions, who is one of his prophets, to speak to them about the things that are going on and about what is going to happen, and he directly correlates it to the actions that the kings are taking. Jeroboam set them on this path, and yet nobody has been willing to move aside from the path, as in fact each one has been doubling down further on the things that were being done. So the first thing that we notice is the uncertainty in Israel because of their unwillingness to turn back to God. The second thing that you notice in chapter 16, or at least that I notice in chapter 16, is the account that takes place between Zimri and Omri. Zimri is going to be the one who kills Elah, and he is going to remove the family of Baasha the same way that Baasha removed the family of Jeroboam. But you have then this situation that takes place because Zimri is one of the captains of the chariots. But at the same time, Omri is one of the commanders of the army in the field, and they are out laying siege to a city of the Philistines. All of a sudden it comes down. Zimri is in the capital at this time, which is Tirzah, and Zimri is going to simply take the throne. He's going to perform a coup, and he is going to take the throne, and he is going to reign. Well, 7 days later, word is going to get to Omri of what Zimri has done, and to the army of Omri. Well, the army of Israel doesn't want Zimri to be their king. They want Omri to be their king. And so they pronounce that Omri is the king, and they come back from the land of the Philistines, and they lay siege to their own city, Tirzah. Zimri is going to notice that he is going to lose this particular battle, so he goes into the king's palace and he burns it to the ground with him inside. He commits suicide by fire. And Omri is going to be the new king. So we have this power struggle that is going on within the military elements of the people of Israel. But Omri is going to come out on top. An interesting note in the things that follow after this is that Omri, verse 24, is going to be the one that builds a city by the name of Samaria. This city is going to be the capital city, not just for Omri and his son Ahab, but for every king of Israel until the fall of Israel. This is going to be the new capital, and it's going to be built by Omri. But the final thing I want us to notice is at the end of the chapter, because when Omri's son is going to take the throne at the end of chapter 16, there's an interesting statement that's made about him. He is one of the most well-known kings of the time of the kingdom of Israel. He is Ahab. His wife is even more well-known than he is because her name was Jezebel. And yet it is stated concerning Ahab, and the rest of the rest of First Kings is going to be about the reign of Ahab and the things that go on between Ahab and the prophet Elijah. But when Ahab takes the throne, it is stated concerning Ahab that he did evil in the sight of the Lord more than all who were before him. He takes the cake, because he does not see it as a trivial thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, but instead he takes it much, much further. And part of it is going to be with the marrying of Jezebel. Up until then, nobody had tried to go out and actually destroy the prophets of God and to actually destroy those who worshiped God and completely remove the worship of God from the land. But Ahab and Jezebel will. Ahab and Jezebel are going to be described as the worst rulers from the standpoint of their relationship with God that Israel will have. And so as we come into chapter 17 next time, and we begin the accounts of Elijah and Ahab, and they're going to go through the remainder of the book of 1 Kings, we're going to see a pivotal point in the history of the kingdom of Israel, and there's going to be a lot of major events that are going to take place during this time. I hope that you'll join us as we continue our study. And I hope that these things that we've talked about from 1 Kings 16 help us to see some of the landscape of what is going on, but also some of the problems that occur and some of the things that happen when man turns his back on God. But until the next time, have a great day.